Hello, hello, lovely people. I am here with another weekly reading, and as it is my solar return, which means the sun is at the same degree it was when I was born. Just interestingly, my birthday is tomorrow, but my solar return this year falls today. So just to note that your solar return is usually on the day of your birthday, but it can be the day before or the day after. So today with my solar return, I have definitely set up with lots of my favorite things, which is such a Gemini cacophony. I've brought in all of the elements. So there's earth, there's air, the crystals also form earth, lucky beans and cat's whiskers, the oils, elevation and balance. This is a card that was personally drawn for me of the High Priestess. And selenite, a favorite. This little hope angel was given to me by a close friend probably 20 years ago, who I happened to be about to visit for the first time in a few years. This beautiful angel also done for me by a close friend, covering the chakras, one of my favorite things. And some shells to bring in the watery energy that we're also about to shift into, because this is equinox week. Fire, can't really see the flame there, just the glow. Dragons and sacred geometry and the divine feminine. So bringing in some of my favorite things, bringing in a balance, including the oil balance of the elements. And you're going to see why this is so hilarious in a moment. And our primary energy that we're working on here, aside from solstice, which is happening later in the week, and that is the point at which the sun moves into 0 degrees of the sign Cancer, we also have today, on Monday, Venus and Mercury at the last degree of Gemini and forming a conjunction, coming together, and then stepping into Cancer together. So Mercury is how we think, and Venus is what we value. It's about how we love and money, and the mercurial aspect is our inner dialogue, or the narrative, the story we tell of our lives, the way we think and process mentally. So this is kind of bringing head and heart energy together. First in the very curious, preschooler, information-driven Gemini, and then in the very nurturing, watery energy of Cancer. So Mercury is actually the ruler of Gemini, and the moon is the ruler of Cancer, but that brings in a very feminine energy. So we're bringing in these two planets in places where they're both pretty strong. Well, Mercury in Gemini is strong, and Venus in Cancer is strong, to really combine the yin-yang energy and to really combine the energy of mind and heart. So choose a number between 1 and 4. Remember that this is not a personalized reading. I do personalized readings. If you're interested, then please do get in touch. I appreciate all the likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. I'm trying to figure out which things I do are the most serving for people. And so I guess on one level, a way to know that is those likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. And then get a little more discerning about where I should focus my energy and where I should not. So keep them coming if you want me to keep these readings coming. And remember that the number that you pick now, or numbers, sometimes you might have 2 numbers pop into your head, is going to give you a little bit of extra focus for this week. But the overall picture is what we're looking at. And then also, although I'm doing this for a specific week, if you happen across this video at a time down the line in the future, there's a reason. Nothing will pop up for no reason. So you might either come back to this reading and then look back at this week in your life, or just take it as that week in your life. Let's jump in. And here is why I thought this was so funny, because I always set up the space before I draw the cards, and we've got one for each element. We've got our pentacles, which is earth, our swords, which is air, our wands, which is fire, and our cups, which is water. So you just can't make it up, really. And it's also interesting that in a numerological way, we are going in order. So 3, 4, 9, king. We also have 2 upside down and 2 right way up. So there's a huge amount of balance in this reading. And I love that. And in fact, as it is my solar return and I bring my energy to every reading, I have, from an elemental standpoint, quite a good balance of energy in my chart. So that is also an interesting thing to note. So we start with that Three of Pentacles. And this is a card I really love. It's very much about working together, collaborating, cooperating, community. Gemini is a sign of community and working together. So you can already feel that need. And because it steps straight into the Four of Swords, which is upside down, and look at the little heart there. So for me, this feels a little bit like our transition from Gemini to Cancer season, where this is an air energy, which Gemini is. But community is also a Gemini energy. So this is the pros of Gemini versus some of the cons, which is burnout. But then look how this card is in a nest. And if we think about the sign of Cancer, one of the key words that I would use is nesting. Cancer is an extremely good nesting energy and a really good energy to take that time to reset and nurture. And actually, it's the archetypal mother. So if you think what a mother does is she wraps her baby in a cloth. She puts her baby in a cradle. She holds her baby in her arms like a nest, like the safe environment. And it's very well known that women in the last few weeks, particularly, or the last trimester to the last few weeks of their pregnancy, get this nesting urge. And that is very much what the archetype of Cancer is. It's a desire to nest and nourish those that you love. And actually, the big thing here is that we should be doing that for self, especially if you are a mother or you are that nurturing type of archetype. You're very Cancerian or very watery, and you like to look after everyone in your life. And then if that comes at the expense of yourself and you run out and you get burned out, like this card suggests, you don't have that opportunity to look after those you love the way you want to. So in order to be the best nurturer and nourisher of those you care for, you actually have to put yourself higher up on the list than most of us do. Probably top of the list if we're being honest, because you are that energy source that you want to give to people. And if you're not replenishing your own energy, if you're not doing your own energetic housekeeping, if we think of that as the energy of the mother, the housekeeper, the homemaker, you've got to take care of yourself. So don't forget to lean in and ask for help and delegate and recognize that there is community and recognize you do not have to do everything on your own, and that it is more courageous to take time to rest and nourish than it is to burn yourself out. Nobody wins with that. And then this comes straight into our Nine of Wands, our fiery card, which is also upside down. And this is like, don't keep yourself stuck in your own sort of gilded cage. Or have you now established your boundaries to the point where you've gotten so rigid in them that you actually aren't letting yourself out? What seemed like a defense mechanism at one point has now got you trapped. And that's what you want to avoid. And burnout is kind of a similar signature. So those two cards together would be saying, if you don't have healthy, nourishing boundaries and know the difference between working with others and isolating yourself, the right relationships, the right people in your life, then you're going to burn out and you're going to be stuck and isolated. Your body will trap you even in a state of burnout. You just can't get up off that bed. You just can't go for that beautiful stroll in nature because you've gone too far and you've created this trap for yourself. So again, a big thing about looking after yourself. And think about the Venus Mercury moving from Gemini into Cancer, and think about the Cancer solstice point, because when we get to a solstice point in the northern hemisphere, that will be the longest day, and in the southern hemisphere where I am is the longest night. So here we're at the height of one or the other. And you have to ask yourself seasonally, what does that mean for me? And based upon my season where I live, how does that impact where I might tend to burn myself out and lock myself away? And then finally, we end with the King of Cups, who is just a wonderful, as water always is, a wonderful reflector. He is a brilliant role model, and he's modeling for us emotional intelligence and this kind of sensitive, compassionate, but still that kind of archetypal king energy is the the strong masculine. So even though water is more feminine, and we're having this, again, the genders, when we deal with gender in these things, it's always more a case of yin and yang than specifically whether you're in a male or female body, or whether you're gender neutral, or whatever you are. We all have that energy. So here, in a sense, this is kind of like the male Cancerian archetype. This is like the sensitive masculine. So if Cancer is the mother, and here we have the King of Cups, we're saying, how do I balance out the nurturing aspects in my feminine self and also in my masculine self? And we tend to think of the masculine as more get things done, goal-oriented, than the feminine, which is more like wrapping and swaddling that baby and holding the baby to your heart, to your breast, nesting. The man goes out and says, how can I support my family? This is obviously traditional terms, but we're talking about how do we integrate those archetypes within us. So, whoever you are, wherever you are, there isn't in a mother in you and there isn't in a father in you. So how do I look at my more sensitive, nurturing inner father aspect? And in this case, it feels like he's in a very positive space and he just wants to model for his child. And you also have an inner child. So imagining now, you can really feel this tying in. And actually, I must say, the inner child is knocking as a next newsletter theme for me. So watch that space. But you can feel the balancing, back to the word balance, that we're feeling of all four elements: the mother, the father, the child. There's a tuning in and fine-tuning those energetic frequencies of what do I need to focus on here? Do I need to really drop into the water in me, which is my emotional, reflective, intuitive, sensitive, sentient self? Do I need to tap into my fire, which is my passion, my drive, my ignition, my purpose, my heat? Do I need to tap into my air? Do I need to understand with ideas and curiosity and seeds and learn new things and teach what I'm learning and scatter that energy far and wide? Do I need to consolidate with earth? Do I need to ground, move more slow and steady and consistent so that I can see the fruits of my labor in a material way? Even as you see in that card, there is something constructive being made that it's tangible. They can touch it, they can feel it, they can see it. And in that there is also, so that's like the element aspects, and then the same thing of the yin and the yang, or the masculine and the feminine. And if you're balancing out those archetypal parent parts within you, they're going to be good parents to the inner child and heal some of that inner child wounding. So it feels like a really positive week to get a bit of an overview of me and my balance, and where does that need a little elevation? So I hope this has been helpful, and remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you again next week. Thanks for watching.